program called Mentor Walk to make sure that kids from poor neighborhoods actually spend a little time on a college campus and talk to mentors who might be role models. My own heritage is the American Missionary Association, an outgrowth of the Amistad Rebellion and the abolitionist movement that established more than 500 schools and colleges after the Civil War. My parents and grandparents, as well as Coretta Scott King and my late wife, Jean Childs Young, emerged from this education network. It is no accident that the black middle class of the 20th century emerged from the civil rights movement, or that most of the black leaders in southern Africa emerged from Fort Hare University in South Africa. Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu studied there. Fort Hare University also grew out of a missionary movement. When I think of quality in education, I have in mind institutions like these that produce elite leaders and thinkers. That is fundamentally different from institutions that call themselves elite because of whom they exclude. Knowledge and truth always inspire change. The question today is whether the way we go about teaching and learning are adequate to the demands of technical and financial aspirations on a global scale. Much of the change in the world was produced by the values and vision of higher education. Change, whether by reform, evolution, or revolution, reminds me of an old Christian hymn. New occasions teach new duties. Time makes ancient good uncouth. They must strive upward and onward who would keep abreast of truth. Higher education today is in serious trouble. A small number of wealthy private institutions which serve a tiny fraction of the people are becoming more and more remote. Even at public universities, tuition is too high for most families. Completion rates, especially for kids from poor neighborhoods, are too low. Families pile up debt for college degrees that have little value. Meanwhile, university leaders are rewarded, making things even more unequal. A college that rises in national rankings by becoming more selective is considered a success by alumni and donors. Abelard to Apple is a kind of how the leopard got its spots tale of how inequality crept into higher education. This book looks to the future. It is about what Rich calls a small band of innovators are doing to erase the inequality in higher education. The working title of the original manuscript was Heroes and Martyrs. I was a little disappointed that was not the final title. As a preacher, I found the title to be appealing. The idea of heroes in higher education is taken from Daniel Gilman, the first president of Johns Hopkins University. Gilman thought that there were heroes and martyrs of learning, just like there were apostles of religion. They are all sent forth into the world to change it. The final chapter is about a new social contract for universities. It has the same universal appeal that the human rights movement had 30 years ago. It is inspiring that so many of the central characters are revolutionaries who turn out to be committed to the same ideals. What will be different if this small band of innovators has its way? The world will have access to high-quality education at lower, or no, cost. The idea of remedial education will disappear and be replaced with a more sophisticated understanding of how the brain learns. Remedial education never gets the attention it needs. The idea itself assumes there are two classes of people, those who need remedial coursework because they have failed to learn, and those who don't. Rich believes it is classrooms that have failed, not the students. Innovation can help. For example, he describes classrooms that adapt to the different circumstances that entering students have no control over. Change like this never comes easily. Many in existing institutions fight to maintain their status. Although this is a book about academia, it is not an academic book. Rich, who was also a dean at Georgia Tech and an executive in industry, writes for those of us who are not insiders. We get to see what's really going on and what challenges the revolutionaries face. Revolution is not always easy sledding. Why college costs so much sounds like an easy question, but the answers are not simple. It takes some patience to make the connections with economics and technology. For every complicated question, there are hopeful stories, like Mississippi's Jackson State University. While most historically black